Okay, awesome. Here we are. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee Talk. Today, I'm joined with my friend Amy, and we want to talk about something that a lot of people don't necessarily talk about, nurturing touch. When was the last time you had nurturing touch? So, hello, Amy.
Hello, Julie. Thanks for having me on. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Yeah. We met, gosh, I don't know how many years ago it was. And you had a really interesting story with access bars and how you first found it. And then you were like, what the heck is this? Do you want
Mhm.
to share a little bit of that?
Okay, sure. Yeah. I first took access bars back in 2017 and with a facilitator in the area, the Bay Area. And it was really uncomfortable the first time in that class. I was with a bunch of my friends, so uh, you know, it wasn't my friends that was the issue. It was the space and the place, and it just wasn't what I was expecting, having seen Dr. Dane on YouTube and all his free resources.
Hmm.
So it was kind of alarming, really, for me, that first class, and it just wasn't what I expected at all. Um, Yeah, and really, I would have to say it was the facilitator, which I'm not gonna name any names. So
So
that
what made you continue to be curious about it and not just like totally discard it?
well, I already worked with bodies. I already, worked in the healing arts, like doing Reiki, and I was currently in massage school at the
Mhm.
time, so I was getting a lot of body work done and a lot of nurturing touch. I mean, I was surrounded by that and having it done daily and offering that daily. So it was really different. And it wasn't really like the access bars themselves, because I actually love the access bars. And I was like, I didn't lie there cracking up on the table like Dane did for his first session.
Yeah.
It was like really intense for me and like really electric. And,
Yeah.
you know, my body had been receiving a lot of nurturing touch, but that just also showed me how much judgment I had in my world and
Yeah.
how much unwillingness I really had to receive.
Yeah.
So it was a few months later that I pulled the book out again and started reading through the manual. And I was doing sessions for clients and I just started incorporating that and
Mm.
talking to people about it. And I would say within 6 months of having the bars class, my first bars class, I was like, yeah, I'm using this because it's fabulous. It's actually creating change for my clients. And so then I talked to my friends that were in the class and they had started doing it using access bars again too around the same time with their clients. And I was like, okay, well, let's start doing trades. Let's see what else is possible with this, because
Mm.
it may not be what we thought it was,
Mhm.
you know? And we started trading regularly, and it was so different than the first class.
Mhm. Yeah.
So eventually I took bars with you and I took bars with another facilitator in San Francisco and became a facilitator myself. So I actually love the tools and I love the bars.
Yeah.
And I didn't let that first experience like shut it down for me.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many people have this expectation of what something's supposed to be based on hearsay information or just whatever. And then they don't actually get the true benefit of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of it has to do with like, excuse me, melting all the limitations and judgments and presumptive realities
Mhm.
we have, which
Yeah.
back then, presumptive realities weren't even around, but now it's like all through access, and the new tools are actually contributing so much to the
Yeah.
change that's possible.
Everything seems to be getting faster and faster. And I feel like I've said that over the years a lot,
Yeah.
but it continues to change and it continues to get faster, which is really kind of cool because,
Yeah.
you don't get bored.
Oh, no. Yeah,
But
there's no
like
way to get bored.
everybody receiving it is totally different. I've done so many different expos and run bars on hundreds, thousands of people in the years that I've been doing Access, and every single session is different. And some people feel nothing. Some people fall asleep. Some people like start immediately crying and releasing all kinds of stuff. I mean, amazing, amazing things can occur. Even if you don't feel anything,
Right.
people's lives can change. So it really
Totally.
has nothing to do with what you think and what you
Exactly.
think your result is supposed to be, but just the space of the person running your bars is a huge contribution. I know when kids run bars and they don't think anything, they're like, I'm probably not doing anything, whatever. They're some of the greatest sessions because they have no point of view.
Yes, that's so important, actually. It creates so much more ease for the body. And access bars is just one of the body processes in access consciousness. And the body processes and the body process classes, there's the 3-day body class, there's 1-day body classes, there's afternoon body classes that are just 3 hours. There's the advanced body class, which is probably my favorite class in all of Access.
Yes, totally. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And people are like, what is that? There are no words.
Yeah.
It changes stuff that you had no idea that you could change, and that was anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And just the lightness, like I've never felt so light and like so me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Body processes. Yeah.
In my last advanced body process, because I do them almost every year since they started creating them.
Wow.
There was a process, I don't even remember what the process was, but it was like hand on the crown and the sacrum. So it's like, it incorporates your whole spine.
Mm-hmm.
And at a certain point, I felt like my whole body just went into space. And it was like, oh my gosh, they talk about if you didn't hold your molecules together with the points of view and judgments that you have, that you would be total space and that you could rearrange those molecules in whatever way you like.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God, like actually experiencing that sense of no solidity in and as my body.
Wow.
And what's cool about it, and when you know something is true for you, is you can think about it and get the same energetic sense. It's like you can tap into that energy.
Yeah. Perceiving it, knowing it, being it, receiving it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
What are some of the changes that you can articulate if you can?
Yeah. I mean, so much of what the body processes change for me are like on the cellular and molecular levels. Like I just feel lighter, bouncier, happier. I just have more ease in my body, maybe less pain. Like pain has dissipated for me with the body processes. And a lot of it is like, yeah, it's hard to put into words, really. It's just more of a sense and a knowing.
It's so funny because sometimes I forget that people are in pain because I've been using these tools for so long. I pretty much don't have pain.
Wow.
And it's like, oh, right. Oh, yeah.
How does it get any better than that?
Yeah. Like even if you go on a long hike and you haven't been in a while, usually people are in pain, but I turn on and run certain energies while I'm doing that. So I pretty much don't have any pain.
Wow.
Is that different though? Like
I mean, how does it get any better?
just
Honestly,
like normal for me now.
yeah. I mean, that's amazing. And I don't have that yet. Like, what would it take to have that? I still have pains that show up in my body, but that's also when I know there's like solidifications or like points of views, and that's where I know, okay, I need to either facilitate a body class or attend a 3-day body or an advanced body, because it's 3 days of processes and you're partnered up with someone morning and afternoon. And it's just 3 days of really nurturing touch, contributing to your body. And it also opens up, like, for me, it's opened up a better communication with my body. Dane's book, Body Whispering.
Yes.
And his classes and all of that. Like, it really, the body process classes pour consciousness into your body, which opens up your communication with your body. So even if you haven't really been listening to your body, or you don't think you can hear your body, or you don't know the way your body communicates, it starts to open that up. At least it did for me. And it also starts to open up for me, like, the capacities that I have with bodies.
That's the thing too, because so many people, like, something hurts or something happens and they need to go to somebody else.
Yeah.
Somebody who knows more, does more, whatever. But how cool is it that you can step into those capacities, have them, use them on your friends and family and on yourself?
Yeah. On yourself.
It's really remarkable what you can do for yourself.
Yes. Like,
But
how
then the
empowering
gift
it
of,
is.
having somebody else work on you is, in those trades, is really awesome too.
Yeah. Well, and that's where we start to be able to receive nurturing touch. Because for a lot of us, like, we might live alone, or we might not have a partner or whatever, or even if we do, we might not have nurturing touch. Like, when your kids are little, you have a lot of nurturing touch, but as they grow up and become teens and get older, like, they're not as cuddly and they're
Right.
yeah. So it's a way to get the nurturing touch that you might be missing, that you might not even know you're missing.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so ready.
Yeah.
Well, next weekend we have a 3-day class
With Dr. Glenna Rice. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to that in San Rafael. So May 12th through 14th, you're all invited. We'd love to see you there.
Yeah, wow. So ready.
Yeah. And if, that class doesn't work for you, there's facilitators all around the world that facilitate body process classes. And you can find Dr. Glenna Rice at drglennarice.com or the Access website.
So what are the prereqs for that class? Is it foundation at any time, or do you have to have had it within a certain amount of?
I would have to look. I believe it's within a year. But I would have to look. You don't know?
I don't recall.
Okay. I know it's Access Bars and Access Foundation.
Right. It's funny because I never really pay too much attention to the prereqs because I always do all the classes. And so, I just always have the prereqs. But I know that there are some people who do as few classes as possible to stay within the bounds of repeating or whatever.
I believe it's within 12 months.
Yeah.
With the foundation gives you the tools that will contribute to you, so that when you're taking a body class, you're up to speed with all the new information, because Access is always changing. But also then your willingness to receive and your body's ability to receive is that much greater, having the foundation under your belt.
Yeah, it's amazing how repeating the foundation time and time again really opens you to greater possibilities, greater capacity that you never knew you had, less judgment of yourself. I mean, we could probably work on judgment forever.
Yeah.
But like, each time you go through that intensive, and now it's 3.5 days instead of 4.
Yeah.
It's like you're a whole new you on the other end.
Totally. Totally. And it opens you up to like infinite possibilities in your life, with your body, with
Yeah.
everything.
And
Yeah.
like the first time you hear the tools, you hear them through the veil of your judgments and your points of view that you don't realize that you have. Then you hear them again and you're like, oh yeah, I heard that. And so you discard a lot of information. And then
Totally.
you hear them again and it's like, oh, wow. Wow, like you sink deeper and deeper into the subtlety of the tools and becoming the tools. It's a really cool shortening of gaining that years and years of wisdom. You can get it in a very short amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah. And it also opens you up to like be aware of what you're aware of, because a lot of times we pick up other people's judgments thinking they're ours. I could say that even for my first bars class, like how aware was I,
Mm-hmm.
the judgment and all the solidification and like all the compression.
Mm,
That's not really ease on like X-Men bodies.
right.
People who perceive things so intensely, they become it. So yeah, it starts to give you awareness of what you're aware of and give you questions so that you can have more ease and space with your own body and with what you're aware of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay. Cool. So, what else should we talk about? We've got about 10 minutes. Do you use this with your kids?
I do. Yeah. They liked it more when they were younger. They're not as into it anymore. Like during COVID, I did some classes at my house with the kids in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So we would run bars and body processes, and they like that. But we were all home,
Yeah.
so now that they're back to school and with their friends, they
Yeah.
only need it when they don't feel good. They're like, Mom,
Yeah.
help
Yeah.
me, I don't feel
Yeah.
good. Yeah, or they get hurt in sports or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, Mom.
They
Yeah.
need a certain amount of trauma, drama, and upset to match their friends. I recently realized this. Actually, my son came home. He's graduating from college, and he came home for a few days before he went to Europe with my daughter, and they're just traveling and having a good time.
Cool.
And we were talking about something that happened when he was in middle school. And he was the I guess announcer and narrator of some big event, and he was like on stage in the auditorium with hundreds of kids and families, and he told me he needed to have a suit because he was the announcer. I was like, all right, so take him out to Nordstrom, get him a suit and a tie, and oh my God, he looks so adorable and professional. And he, like, as a little kid, he always loved dressing up for holidays and what have you. So he did it. He nailed it. He was amazing. No stage fright, just awesome. And I had this like, wow, that was awesome. I thought it was great. Never hear about it until a couple weeks ago when we're having lunch. and I brought it up, and he's like, I will never forgive you for that, because all my friends made fun of me because I was overdressed. And so I have tried so much to fit in and tone it down ever since then. And I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
I was always wondering, like, why is he just so all the time? But he, like, from then, and he's like, yeah, I know I nailed it, but everybody made fun of me because of my clothes.
Oh.
And there's this real tangible when you don't fit in, when you're in that age range, that is, I guess, terrifying. to not fit with your friends. And so they take on, even though he had access when he was 3 and he grew up with it.
Yeah.
He'll use it when he needs it at the last possible second, but fit in, blend in, don't stand out.
Well, I mean, that's so normal, you know?
Wow.
Like, yeah.
I'm like, dude, you're just not normal though. Be okay with that. Yeah, it's very interesting. I was shocked.
Wow. You can probably hear my kitty. She's meowing all of a sudden.
Oh, I love kitties. And see, that's another way to get nurturing touch.
Yes. Animals. Absolutely. They have no points of views, you know,
Yeah,
just be.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it seems like, if you allow yourself whatever nurturing touch, nobody has to know. You can still look like you fit in and be normal, but you can have more space and ease, and you become this really cool magic wand walking through the world without even knowing it. I remember going to my hairstylist, and he was always so nice to me, and he'd give me extra services and not charge me and stuff. When I went into the salon, now he comes to my house. And
wow.
this other, I think he was sick or out or whatever, and I had to go to somebody else. And the other person was saying he loves it when you go and sit in his chair because it makes him feel better.
Wow.
Like it physically makes him feel better. And I was like, wow, I had no idea.
That is so cool. That is so cool that you know.
Because nobody gives you feedback like that.
Yeah,
Like, how are you supposed to know?
Yeah, they don't always tell you. Like, that's so awesome.
So, I wonder what each one of us is being in the world that's different, that is tangible, that people don't tell you about.
Yeah.
But is a contribution beyond your wildest dreams.
Yeah. That's so generative. Like, there's so much space in that, Julie.
Yeah. And then touching from that, even just, hey, how you doing? And a gentle something is like, it could melt all kinds of things.
Totally. Such a contribution. Yeah. Wow.
And then we get these spaces in the conversation because it's like there's nothing required.
Yeah.
We've already generated it.
Yeah. And actualizing it. Yeah. Yeah. And that's just some of what you get in a 3-day body class.
Yeah. And I think it also helps you refine your awareness of what you are aware of. Some people have really cool capacities show up. Like some people, and everybody's different. Some people can see things, not necessarily, physically, but they'll like see things light up in people's bodies and know where to touch. Other people, like I get sensations in my body when I'm working on somebody else. So I know, oh, touch them there. Like if it's here, I'll touch them there, and then this settles down. And so there's different awarenesses that you can learn how your body communicates with you.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like that show up?
Yeah, totally. I was just going to say that. Like for me, my hands will just go where their body requires the touch or is asking to be touched. Like I don't necessarily see anything, but my hands will go where it's required, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, that's exactly where I've had a pain from blah, blah, blah back whenever. And it's like, wow, they said, how do you know that? I'm like, I just ask your body. Like my body, I just trust that my body knows.
Right.
And is communicating with their body. Yeah. And also with the processes too, like what process they require.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and then you carry that over into the things that you do in the world.
Yeah.
if you're cooking, that becomes a nurturing thing. If you're in bed with somebody, that becomes this whole other nurturing thing. Like there's so many ways that you can use it.
Yeah. Yeah. In every aspect of your life. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. Were you going to say something else?
It's just yummy what we're
Oh.
talking about. It's just, yeah, whatever it was, I lost it. So
Oops.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, it was something about like I begin, or with the processes, I began to really trust myself, I guess. Like it builds that
Yeah.
trusting in yourself and trusting that you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even if people aren't telling you, but it's lovely to get the feedback too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I would say in the class, people are more likely to give you some feedback because it is a class, and then you can start to go, oh wow, I knew that, I knew that, I knew that, and then it builds your muscle of awareness because you're acknowledging.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on and chatting, and thank you everybody for watching now and in the future. There were no comments in the Coffee Talk group, so I guess there were no questions, but maybe you've just enjoyed the space and the nurturing energy.
Thank you so much, Julie.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you next weekend at the class, and anybody who would like to come, we are both hosting, so you can reach out with any questions. It's very easy to get to, and it's been pretty good weather, so
Yeah.
wherever you're coming from, sunny
Beautiful
California.
view of the bay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Lovely.
beautiful views
Yes.
and nurturing touch awaits you. All right. Well, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you, and I will see you all sometime soon.
Bye.
Take care.